in mind. And in the touchlight every corner. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Them be promise us say we go get light and power. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you lie down. My ego don't come. My people make we shout out. My ego don't come. My ego don't come, man of the masses. My ego don't come. My ego die the political. My ego don't come. This one not they off in mind. My ego don't come. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Mayegun don't come. My people make you shout. Mayegun don't come.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun Live.
Mayegun number one.
Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun.
Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you are watching from. Please share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them Mayegun today.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Mayegun diary political.
Mayegun diary.
They don't start again.
Godfatherism.
Before Wahala starts,
Mayegun diary.
you need to be aware.
Balẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o.
All my life,
Mayegun number one.
Àní Mayegun
as young as I am,
dódódódó.
Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
I have never seen a terrorist doing global tour.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Mayegun ti dé.
Thank you so much. Read the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well. Take your time. Share the broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them Mayegun today. Oh, today.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Mayegun mami.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Presido bá rúfin o.
Mayegun mami.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Mayegun mami.
Shit. Òṣèlú. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Thank you.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Mayegun
sì ní pé ìgboro ti di kọ̀pọ̀yé everywhere ló ti propoyé èsì sì ní pé.
Mo ti dé o. So good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. And of course, it is Mayegun live tonight. In case some of you are hearing this for the first time, so sit back, relax, or maybe not. I may come kind of aggressive. Then I may come in a way that is sort of too direct. I'm going to say these caveats just before we get fully into this. This program is not by any means by any means a target at your belief and your religion. It is for educational purposes. There is fire on the mountain, and it's ideal for everyone to be aware. Now, after being aware, which is the first step, then you will then have to push back seriously. Now, when people need reasons why to resist something, you give it to them without creating any kind of a doubt. I mean, the one that this man currently in Nigeria, his name is Nakir Naik. He is Indian. Now, he is a wanted man for many reasons. He is an Islamic fundamentalist that Yorubas calls Alakatakiti. He is one of those who have become famous and declared wanted from his own birth country because he was planting religious division through different incitement. In fact, he was publicly quoted to have said every Muslim should endeavor to be a terrorist, a jihadist. Because if you are a Muslim and you have a chance of killing the infidels, non-Muslims, you are a jihadist for Allah. And guess what you are going to get if you become a terrorist as a Muslim? You are going to heaven, which is Al-Jannah, where you are going to be having orgies. This bunch of pedophiles, perverts, all kind of perversion. You will experience them in their own Al-Jannah. 72 virgins that never does menstruation. These criminals, they will describe the kind of woman you are going to get in heaven. All you do is shagging and shagging and shagging. This bunch of lunatics. So this guy is in Nigeria. His country declared him wanted because of his messages that has radicalized young Indians, okay, who have resorted into terrorism. So he ran away from India, his own birth country. By then, he claimed persecution from the Indian government. And remember, Indians are Hindus, I think. Abi Hindu, Abi Hinduism, Abi Buddhism, or something like that. Then Islam, then others. In India, just like you have Christians as the easy targets of the fanatic Muslims in Nigeria, killing Christians in Nigeria in their tens of thousands. That's exactly how the Muslims in India are also like endangered. So this criminal escaped from India to Malaysia based on human rights, what have you. So Malaysia now gave him asylum. Then they gave him permanent residency based on that asylum on human rights as a fugitive. There are about 6 Asian countries who have also declared him wanted. If you see him, and you can actually capture him for them, you will be paid. That is the person that is currently in Nigeria. And it wouldn't have been anything much. One of the reasons why Nigeria, for those who are not Nigerians, if you are watching this broadcast and you are like African or maybe European or just like non-Nigerian yourself, this should interest you. One of the reasons why Nigeria has been witnessing endless violent death is because of religious crisis. For those of us who are from Nigeria, majority of us knows that the same religious crisis that you have in Nigeria is primarily championed, bankrolled by political criminals to their own advantage, right? The fanatic lunatics who call themselves preachers, Islamic lunatics in northern Nigeria. So it is like trade by barter. The political class protects them wherever they do and wherever they, anything they try is kind of like forgone. You don't look into them. So if you try to look into them, they will tell you you are coming after the northern Nigeria. So because of this, the terrorism in northern Nigeria that has made it into the global space, the terrorism is basically Muslims, fanatic Muslims, terrorist Islamic, terrorists rather, killing the indigenous people, mostly in middle belt part of Nigeria. And it is like a jihadist campaign. It is well funded, right, by some of these Islamic countries that are funding some of these renegades in northern part of Nigeria under the cover of northern Islamic body. They know themselves. So because of the government complete negligence, which we have concluded to be a collusion, do you understand? The terrorists are completely having upper hand. If any of them get caught, they would have to be released without trial. Right? So this has made many, especially from southern Nigeria, that Nigeria is due for breakup because Nigeria is not an Islamic country. But what the rest of Nigeria, especially southern Nigerians, what they don't know is that due to the political advantage of the northern Nigeria, which is centered around Islam, do you understand? It's centered around Islam. That political upper hand has made the rulers of Nigeria to drag the entire Nigeria into, I don't know if they call it OICO or IOCO. It is as in an Islamic organization. So Nigeria is a member. That gives all of the terrorists and would-be terrorists the easy access to Nigeria. And guess what? There is this annoying, crazy belief that an average northerner in Nigeria kind of have, and that crazy belief is that Nigeria is their own. Listen to this. that their father told them that Nigeria is the conquered territory. Okay? So which means from northern Nigeria, straight down to the ocean, in the southern part of Nigeria, is the inheritance of the first terrorist in Nigeria, Uthman Danfodio. He is the first terrorist in Nigeria. He came to Nigeria, what became today's Nigeria. He came to northern part of Nigeria, as those who are selling ajashe poki. You know those ajashe poki. If you are from Yoruba land, you understand. Ajashe poki. If your baby needs to grow teeth, if your baby is not walking early, all those who are selling small juju, small jazz. That was what Uthman Danfodio came to do back then in Sokoto. By then, Hausas were the indigenous people of that northern part of Nigeria, what became northern part of Nigeria today. So they welcomed him. Do you understand? So he will come in, he will go to their different markets, he will sell them. If you want to avoid being caught, if you want to be macheted and you don't want it to cut your dechi, this is what Uthman Danfodio was selling in northern Nigeria as early as 1807. So when he finally realized that these people were so accommodating, you know what he did? He grouped all the Fulanis he could get from other parts of Africa, and they waged a jihad. That jihad was when he invaded the northern part of Nigeria of today. When he invaded, he rounded up all of the leaders of all of the communities, all of the kingdoms there. He rounded them up and he slaughtered them, including those who were their families. He slaughtered everybody. You know why? He said they were fighting for Allah, that Hausas, they were idol worshippers. So he came to save them. That is why till tomorrow, you will see a Fulani tell a Hausa man or a Hausa woman that Hausas are unbelievers. That if not for the Fulanis who came to save them, look at all of them now talking today. It was the Fulanis who showed them the way, which is show them Islam after they conquered them. History ni mo sọ fún yín o. This is not a makeup. Nigeria history. This was before colonization. So when the colonialists came, right, they discovered that the idea of what is today's northern Nigeria was pure Islam. So they gave them different rules. In southern part of Nigeria, what became southern part of Nigeria, which is the most, flourishing, the most prosperous, with the best of the best land, the best of anything, like resources, natural and human. So blessed, right? But because they are plunderers, colonial masters, they needed to transport all of the farm produce from northern part of what is today's northern part of Nigeria, to transport that down to the southern Nigeria. They built rail. And in order to make their business enterprise to kind of become one, what did they do? They formed what is today's Nigeria in 1914. By then, the Fulani terrorists led by Uthman, by then Uthman Danfodio himself was dead. You know what Uthman Danfodio did? He made himself the Sultan of Sokoto. That is why Uthman Danfodio is the first Sultan of Sokoto. He was like a conqueror. You get that now? I conquered this land. Now I'm going to build my caliphate here. That was how Sokoto Caliphate came to be. There was nothing called Sokoto Caliphate before the 1800, nothing like that. So when they did all of this, is history of Nigeria there. Now the mentality of theirs is that the colonial masters, understanding the spirituality of the Fulanis and the Hausas, which in this way they kind of love to mix together to confuse those they are trying to brainwash to believe that they are the same until now. Anyway, so they believe that the colonial masters, the British, they favored them to be in charge of Nigeria. In fact, they told their children that the British handed Nigeria over to them. You following this, yeah? I'm going somewhere. Don't rush. Don't worry. So with this mentality, an average Fulani, which now you will call them Hausa Fulani, Hausa Fulani. There is nothing called Hausa Fulani. There is Hausa, there is Fulani. And Hausa are the indigenous people to what is today's Nigeria. Fulanis are not in any way indigenous to any part of Nigeria, what is today's northern Nigeria, historically. But I mean, for over 200 years now, they can claim to be, yeah, we are from here. Now I'm here, then born our papa, because they will be right. Uthman Danfodio then made himself the Sultan of Sokoto, and he started. You remember they've conquered most of the communities. They started appointing emirs. Here emir, there emir here, emir there, which a lot of us were now born into, called Nigeria today. Now we are now living in a country with people who have the mentality that Nigeria, where you call Nigeria today, their forefather, Uthman Danfodio, the first Sultan, actually won the entire place, including what you call Southern Nigeria today. This is the mentality they have been using to run Nigeria. And that is why, despite giving nothing, contributing nothing, they will still have to determine what will happen. Because the Southerners, who are those who claim to be representing the South, as long as they are getting their share in the project Nigeria, everything is fine. So with this mentality, Nigeria and Nigerians are now more divided. Because you see, all I have just told you, they have now become more pronounced when APC, Egbekegbe, came to power. You understand? It was like the government of Nigeria actually agreed with invaders. So when Nigerians are being killed, when I say Nigerians, most of them Christians, so when communities that are majorly Christians in northern part of Nigeria, when they are being ransacked and killed, the government will quickly lead those people to IDP camp. You see that their community they left behind, the perpetrator of the crime that killed a lot of people there, they will remain in that vicinity. So many times they will start harvesting the farm produce of the communities they have killed the people there and chase them away. Meanwhile, government will lead them to IDP camp. That is internally displaced persons camp. And it is a fancy word for a fancy name for refugee. Nigerians are refugees in their own country. More than 10 million Nigerians have been displaced by terrorists who are completely based on religion, Islam, Islamic terrorism. Now, the person whose country said want to create war in India by asking people to be martyrs for Allah, that it is ideal that if you kill any infidel, you are actually, I mean, listen to this. So he told people that Christians are destined for doom. So he will now pick Quranic verses, chapters, and he will now go to the Bible chapters as well. And he will kind of quote Quran and Bible that shows that the Quran is original, but that Bible is also telling the Christians that the Islam is the original. So now, let's say I am a sinner now, and I know that I believe that I'm a sinner, and I don't want to die a sinner. Do you know that these kind of criminals, they encourage people, they encourage me that I could just go and, just go and murder one infidel. So what happened is that all my sins will go into the head of that person I just murdered. So they are radicalizing the mind. And a lot of them actually have access to internet where this guy is present in almost every available and existing social media. I'm serious. So, why are we here? He has now created tension in Nigeria. In fact, he has managed, okay, again, to bring out the closet terrorists in Nigeria who actually have their source of inspiration from people like this. And they are so happy to see him in Nigeria. Now, then call you thief. You dey carry goat pikin play. Now, Yoruba proverb, it's not even proverb, it's just saying, they said you are the type that goes everywhere to radicalize young people to become violence when it comes to Islam, to see anyone who is not a Muslim, to see them as piece of anything that, you know what I mean, that doesn't deserve to live. So all of us right now in Nigeria, before this, all of us who are non-Muslims in Nigeria, and that are still in Nigeria or still daring to be Nigerian, in the face of these fanatics from northern Nigeria, the Sharia North, ladies and gentlemen, they are only giving us grace to live. Now, too much now they do say you won't contest for president, you dey craze. In this Sharia Nigeria, in this Islamic Nigeria, some Christians have the audacity that they want to contest for political office. Do you know what they see all of them as? But because your political leaders don't give it, that they know all of that won't get to them. Now, go they deal with all of the madness, no concern them. But that is the country. A country where all of us will be no be Muslim. You understand? That we are still alive. Baba. Now, if you say they just they give us grace, maybe we no pass our boundary. So the guy landed in Nigeria. And his first posts were as controversial as all his life story. Malaysia is now considering canceling his residency and his asylum. So I have never seen it in my life where a terrorist influencer, a terrorist apology, a terrorist fundraiser, the guy is wanted for money laundering, terror funding, hate spreading. Aba, then give him visa. Because the Sultan of Sokoto invited him to come and do what? To come and do lectures in Nigeria. In fact, they have organized different venues for him. And immediately he landed. Baba, controversy landed and people have been going mental, like mad. Who allowed this? Who give him visa? There are some other fanatic Christian lunatics too. They say, you know, go get visa enter Nigeria. If you are one lunatic, fanatic Christian preacher, controversial, go and apply for Nigeria visa. They don't go give you. They won't give you. But a wanted terrorist is invited by the Sultan of Sokoto. Nigeria immigration gave him visa. Nigeria Air Force were on hand to welcome him because he's a special guest of the Sultan of Sokoto in a country that is not Islamic country. All of una today fool una self. No apologies. Christians, Muslims, you believe that. They say Nigeria is half. Some of them will say there are more Muslims in Nigeria than Christians. Some will say no, there are more Christians than Muslims. Una de mad. No apologies. So in your world, you believe that you are actually the what's they call them? You are the majority in Nigeria. So we have two major religions in Nigeria. Meanwhile, people will not get any religion at all. if they combine you, Christians and Muslims, if they combine all of you together, una no reach half of those who don't have any religion in Nigeria. Una go argue that one. No, Mayegun, I disagree. Talofe Koniko agree. Who is asking you to agree or disagree? Is that not how you are raised? You have more of this, you have more of that, and then the supremacy of this or that. The only thing is that we have not seen Christian terrorists in Nigeria. We have never seen one. We have seen countless Muslim terrorists. And I'm talking about who are actually doing this and making demands. And they have people who speak for them. They have people who support them. They have people who tell you, sorry, I want you to know that. You know, have you seen that cartoon where somebody who is going to say, you know, you see a terrorist who wants to cut somebody's head, and they say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Then you see a Muslim that will say, sorry, bro, I'm a Muslim, but I don't support what he is doing, and they will walk away. And that will do that. Now, when you now say, all these Islamic terrorists, my friend, be very careful. Don't ever say Islamic terrorists. Don't share any. Just call them terrorists. Like put him mad. How many terrorists they shout Allahu Akbar? To kill people. And what are they even demanding? And here we are. If you don't want to live in that reality, if you don't want to tell yourself that truth, I will tell you. The Sultan of Sokoto is the leader of the Islamic faithfuls in Nigeria. He is your leader. He invited a terrorist influencer, to come and radicalize your young people. To what? To make them martyrs. And what you will pick out of it is, Mayegun, take Islam out of it. Show that we're in share. Like what I want to don't believe So the point I'm making here is this. There are many of you who are actually terrorist apologists, closet terrorists. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying everybody, I'm saying some of you. So if you take any offense in Islamic belief, what I'm trying to say here is this. The head of Islam in Nigeria invited a terrorist, and it didn't take long before the scandal started, because the guy was coming to Islamic country. And when people started reacting, yes, the closet terrorists, the ones that will tell you, I'm a Muslim. I don't really support what they are doing. But what I'm saying, what I'm not going to allow is anybody to because of these people to start talking about Islam. Islam. Because some of you are, you know, the problem with you Nigerians is that when we tell you that if you want to be honest with yourselves, religion, right? Just sit down and take a look at your Islam and the Islam you are pretentiously supporting, where terrorists are indeed living the Davida local life in Nigeria. Compare that with Saudi Arabia, that you have to pay a lot of money to go and pray. And tell yourself the kind of Islam you are practicing in Nigeria. And like I said, not everybody, because I know those who are real Muslims that are indeed, you know, every time conversation like this pop up, they are just like, man, honestly, we wish something is done. Well, just start from those wearies, because this guy has supporters in Nigeria. He has supporters in Nigeria. And you know what they started saying? Shebi, all of you have been trying, you have been looking for reason to abuse the Sultan. If anybody says something, if all of you are saying something about Islam, they are changing it. Because people are saying, what is this terrorist doing in Nigeria? How did he get into Nigeria? To the point that he's being given a special VIP treatment that he met. Take a look at this. He met with the Nigerian Air Force officials. He met with the Nigerian immigration officials. And when he posted this, he said, interaction with Muslim Air Force. Interaction with Muslim immigration. Now, when this first popped up, to me, about this one, not really mean, maybe na English be the problem. You know, sometimes English from India, be from Malay, I don't know, but he's a doctor. He's a well-read, educated guy. Sure, you understand now? And that is why he's been able to play his scheme of terrorism very, very well. You know what I mean? It's like he is not leading any terror group. He is a teacher. So his teachings are insightful, aidful. You know what I mean? And indeed, they have created or led to people actually carrying out his preachings. But because he's not led any groups, you know what I mean? And so you can say, okay, oh, how did he shake any cup? Because he's educated as well. So he's not a dumb, but let's give that and say, maybe na English be the problem. Like maybe he was trying to say he met Muslim Air Force officials, or I met Nigerian Air Force officials who are Muslims. You understand? Something like that. Maybe that is what he's trying to say here. Not Muslim Air Force, Muslim immigration. So like I said, Nigerians who are already already triggered. Right now in Nigeria, anything that has to do with tribe, ethnic, and religion, Baba, you need, and then political, you need to be very careful. So when people saw that, they said, it was Muslim immigration, it was Muslim Air Force. Abi, who be this weary? Even those who are Muslims, they were going there to say, what's they worry you? But others are trying to like tell people that, you know, those way they do shalaye, that no, maybe he's trying to say these guys are Muslims, okay, and they work for Nigeria Air Force. But he didn't put Nigeria there. They believed that it was, you know, no, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't an error. It wasn't. Later, he met with Sultan of Sokoto himself. And he addressed him as heads of state. Sultan, Muhammad, Sokoto, Sultan Sokoto. Now, this is not a mistake. It is not something that it is intentional. Remember, he is a controversial person. That is what he does. You understand that now? That's what he does. He comes around, right? He dropped controversial stuff, which would then help announce his arrival. So those who have heard him before, those who have been listening to his stuff, those who are closet terrorists, they will be like, wow, he's in Nigeria. Oh my God, he's here. Oh, he's my mentor. You need to go there. A head of state. Who is head of state? Not be your president, be head of state. Sultan of Sokoto, the head of state. Now, Prince Jejeman go there, they laugh at me now. Say, Mayegun, you are asking, and sometimes you could say, Mayegun, I apologize, so sorry, but you're asking a very stupid question. That who is the head of state of Nigeria? Do you not know, say, Fulani control Nigeria? The caliphate is the one that is giving power and taking it and sharing everything. Fula, that is why Biafrans will never. Hi, Prince Jejeman. And I go just sit down here to say, the prince, your theory, they work. Just they carry me, they go. I hear you now. I don't argue. Because, I mean, that is not deliberate. That is not a mistake. It is intentional. Sultan of Sokoto, Edo State. Right. He probably is. Now the guy is going to be in a lorry. I think they've booked Moshood Kashimawu Abiola Stadium for him. That is Abuja Stadium. They are going to mobilize because he was invited by the Sultan of Nigeria, of Sokoto of Nigeria. Authorized his invitation letter extended an invitation letter to a known terrorist. And just 2 days ago, that one, wait be that one named Zulum of Borno, said the level of poverty in Nigeria today